because Ring has been doing some things that a lot of people say, whoa, wait a minute now. Hey, welcome back everybody. Craig Peterson here on WGAN and online at craigpeterson.com. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. We enjoy putting the show together, getting the information out, helping everybody understand what's going on in the world of technology. And I really try and not use some of these industry terms that confuse people. And I've been told many times that's one of the reasons people love to listen and to watch. And you can do both online at craigpeterson.com. And you can find me almost guaranteed in your favorite podcast app. No matter what it is, I'm pretty much there. I've been doing this whole podcasting business now for upwards of 20 years. So I'm out there, and I appreciate every listener. And hey, if you enjoy the podcast, if you're listening to this on podcast, on TuneIn, make sure you just spend a minute, if you wouldn't mind, and go to craigpeterson.com/iTunes. Now, iTunes is the 800-pound gorilla still in the marketplace, and a lot of tracking is done through them. So go to craigpeterson.com/iTunes, and if you would, give me a 5-star review. Let me know what it is you like about the show, the best things about the show, and hopefully we can get even more people signed up. But I'm also on TuneIn and iHeart and all over the place, so you can just go to craigpeterson.com/ your favorite, whatever that might be, tune in, and it'll take you right there, and then you can subscribe to the podcast. Well, we've talked many times about this general problem, and this is called the Internet of Things. What are you supposed to do? What is it? Well, we'll start there very briefly for those that aren't, up to date on this, because it is changing all the time. The Internet of Things is now including some of your clothing. And what this means is that there are computers embedded in your clothing that are built in to the newest televisions, obviously, into the washer, the dryer. I have seen out at the Consumer Electronics Show some of the kitchen appliances like your stove, right? You no longer have to turn that knob on the stove. All you have to do now is go to an app and you get your phone out and you just say, okay, great, and it'll turn on or turn off, whatever. That's the Internet of Things. These smart light bulbs that we have that turn on and off, the at the front door where you have used to have a key, and now you can just hold your phone up near it. That's the Internet of Things when they're connected to the Internet. Now, it brings about a whole lot of great use cases, and I love the Internet of Things. I have some of the devices at my home and my office that are all connected to the Internet, and there's good reason for it, and it works really, really well for us. So that's the Internet of Things. Ring, which is a company that was acquired by Amazon a couple of years ago for $1 billion, which is quite a bit of money. Ring is a security company, and their claim to fame was this doorbell that they made. And they still do, and it's still called Ring, and it's now being sold by Amazon, who owns the company, as I mentioned. And the idea is you replace your doorbell on the front door, side door, whatever it might be, with this little Ring device. And the Ring device has built into it a camera, and it's also hooked up to the Internet. So if someone rings the doorbell, it will go ahead now and it'll pop up an alert on your phone. And it'll say, hey, someone's at the door. And now you can not only look at the person at the door and know that they are who they are, that they're there, you can talk to them. You can hear what they're saying. You can go ahead and respond to them, have a conversation with them, whatever you might need to do. And then there's other Ring devices now, and other devices in your home, so you could literally unlock that front door. And Amazon has a service now that is used primarily in the bigger cities, where they'll walk into your home and leave the package inside by using a special door lock. that they can unlock. I don't know about you. Walmart is doing the same thing. And with Walmart, that door lock is a special door lock again. But Walmart will only use employees who've been with Walmart for more than a year and basically have a spot-free record. Now that makes sense to me, right? You don't just want anybody walking in. But personally, I don't want anybody walking into my house. So the idea behind Ring is you can be on that beach, you can be at work, you can be picking up the kids, it doesn't matter. And you know who has been at your home. So if you've got a porch pirate, you can go back and look at the video. You can even turn it over to the police, which is where part of this problem starts. Because Ring has been doing some things that a lot of people say, whoa, wait a minute now. They don't like. Because Ring has been taking all of this video that it's been recording from the front doorbells and putting it up in the cloud. Now, just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean everyone has access to it. Although we have certainly seen that with some databases up in the cloud. And I think my recollection is Ring had a problem like this too. But don't quote me on it, where their database had been exposed online. So what happens then? Because now all of the video that your Ring devices have captured is online. One of the problems Ring had, we also saw with the Amazon Alexa, and we saw Apple got pulled into this with Siri, and that is that contractors were found to have been looking at some of the video, listening to some of the audio, and people thought that was a terrible thing. Well, frankly, that's not a terrible thing. Because how are you going to make the voice recognition better if nobody verifies the voice recognition, right? You have to have somebody listen to it. Well, in Ring's case, it turned out that apparently some of their devices were getting hacked. Now, we know this happens with Internet of Things devices. Most of, it's like 95%, I think, of the security cameras that we have in the United States were made in China. And many of them are imminently hackable. I mean, in a very, very big way. So if you have a device that's hacked, what does it matter to you? Well, it mattered to some of these people who claim that their Ring device was hacked because they had a camera in their kids' room and the bad guy apparently took over the camera and started having a conversation with their kids. Now, if that's not a problem, I don't know what is. Remember LA Unified School District with their laptops, and the cameras on the laptops were being turned on remotely by their IT people at the school district? And young ladies had their laptops open in their bedrooms while they were getting changed. Think about the consequences here. They can be pretty steep. There's no question about it. And one of these days we'll have to do a bit of a comparison of some of the devices, smart devices that are out there. As far as things like smart speakers go, Amazon has been very good. And they designed their Echo devices to be have a hardware limit on them. So they can't just sit there and listen. Unlike Google Home, that it's been found that some malicious apps on Google Home could sit there and listen for hours on end and stream everything that they heard, streaming it all up to the internet, okay? So the Alexa is kind of the way to go there. But these people whose kids' rooms now had cameras and microphones and speakers that were hacked have been going after the company. And in November, Senator Ed Markey, Democrat from Mass, said that he wants to make some changes to something else that Ring has been doing. And the other thing that Ring has been doing that Ed Markey is not too happy with is they've been cooperating with police departments. And what they've been doing with the police departments is sharing the video, live video as well as recorded video from the doorbells. Hopefully just the doorbells. So now if the police are doing an investigation in the neighborhood, the idea is, hey, we can gather up all of the stuff from all of these different cameras and we can see this car that went through the neighborhood and spied on people, right? And maybe marked a joint to come back to later and steal things from. Now, that sounds perfectly reasonable to me. But the problem is people didn't know that this was going on. They didn't sign up for it. They because they didn't know, they couldn't even opt out of it, which is a huge, huge problem, frankly. And when you get right down to it, we don't have the kinds of standards I think that we should have. Now, man, there's some technical flaws that appear to be in some of these devices still. Hackers are accused of breaking into Ring products, using the cameras and speakers to yell obscenities at customers in their homes, peek at and harass children. That's what I was just talking about, which is obviously a very big thing. Leaving data online, uttering racial slurs, issue violent and all kinds of extortion threats at residents. So it's a very, very big deal. Now, Amazon responded to these charges. This was Brian Hoosman, an Amazon vice president, said customer privacy and protection of customer data are taken very seriously. But it also acknowledged that on at least 4 occasions in the last 4 years, it had fired employees for improperly accessing customer videos. And that's what I was talking about before. Apparently, Ring used to have it set up so that anyone could access anything. It's kind of like God mode over on Uber, where any of the employees could track any movement of anyone using Uber at any time. And employees were using this God mode to track celebrities. It's just incredible. Login credentials of more than 3,600 Ring account holders were reportedly breached last month, and that's personal information. We've got to get more careful. And if you are a company that has custom software that you've designed or that is designed for you, I urge you, have it code reviewed. Make sure you are using the highest standards available so that you're not going to end up in a lawsuit. Because you know Ring's going to end up in a lawsuit over this. It's not just going to be Ed Markey going after him. Hey, you're listening to Craig Peterson on WGAN online, craigpeterson.com. Stick around, we got some more news, this time about cable modems.